Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My next guest, Reverend Wengam, he's just a man of respect, man. And he has begun this amazing crusade to start prison reform. You know, people are sent to prison and we think, well, that's only your prisoners. But no, you need to be able to reform them. Otherwise, they come back or they come out worse. Let's take a quick second and look at some of the scenes from how congested our prisons are. Take a look at this. There you have it. This is just a glimpse into some of the conditions in our prisons, and I'm going to introduce this man who wants to start something called, he'll tell you when he gets here. But put your hands together, let's welcome Reverend Wengam. Revo. There we go, there we go, there we go. All right. Please have a seat, man.
Good.
Reverend Wengam is in the house. We're going to go for a commercial break, and when we come back, prison reform. Stick around. We'll be right back.
It's gonna get sweeter than guinea fowl. It's the KSM Show.
Yeah, we're back, and as I told you, this is Reverend Wengam of the Cedar Mountain. He's the lead pastor of Cedar Mountain Chapel, and he's been engaged in prison reform. We saw some of the scenes from the prisons, but let's start talking. Reverend, welcome to the show.
Thank you, KSM. Well, it's a great honor. I never dreamt I'll be on this show. But well, it's one of my favorites. I don't miss it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Put your hands together for that, man. Oh, yeah. Fantastic. But I'm glad you're here. And the issue that you're trying to raise consciousness about prison reform. How do you get into this? First of all, let me just find out your interest in getting into prison reform.
Thank you, KSM. 2009, I received a call from the castle that President Mills needed my CV. I said, for what? He said, well, for an appointment. I said, I'm not a politician. About what? And, you know, they were sketchy with information. So I had to go and consult my boss. I was then the director of administration at the Assemblies of God headquarters, the late Reverend Don Tom, may he rest in peace. And they said, listen, if it's a call to serve your country, why not? So later on, I got the information they wanted me to serve as a member of the 5th Prisons Council.
Okay.
So I said, well, Matthew 25:36, Jesus Christ enjoins us to visit the prisoner, and that a visit to the prisoner is a visit to Jesus. So I embraced it. So I served on the 5th Council as a member from 2009 to 2014. I like, you know, having very modest expectations. So after that, I tuned my mind, conditioned my mind. I've served my country, let other people come on board. Then I received a call that His Excellency, the President, wanted to see me. So I availed myself, and he said, Pastor Wengam, I want you to chair the 6th Prison Council. It hit me like thunderbolt. Wow. You know, he had to convince and encourage me. You know, so I said, well, sir, it's a call to serve Mother Ghana, and I like it's connected to my work and my calling as a pastor. So 2014 December, we were sworn in, and then I became the chair of the 6th Prison Council. Okay, okay. Yes,
so that's how it all started.
Yes,
wow. So now you have this amazing crusade. It's called prison reform, but you have a
Project Fiancé.
Project Fiancé.
Yes, sir.
And it's all about reforming the prisons?
Perfect.
Tell us a little bit about that.
When I assumed chair, I rallied the 14-member council. I said, listen, we cannot be armchair board. So let's get to the ground. Let's visit the 43 prisons currently in Ghana. 43? 43. We couldn't visit all of them, but most of them. And actually, I mean, the conditions in one prison, it's the same in everywhere. Yeah. So we were able to visit a number of them to appraise ourselves with conditions. And KSM, when we came back, I couldn't eat for 3 days.
Wow, that bad? I'm
telling you. And if there was any time I cherished freedom, that was after I had the brush with the prisons. Now, we have 43 prison installations, and only 3 are purpose-built. 40 of them were dungeons, old castle forts built in the 18th century. Therefore, it is not aiding us to be able to fulfill our mandate of reforming the prisoners and rehabilitating them. So congestion is the norm. Now, the 43 prisons installations has the capacity to accommodate 9,000. Currently, it is housing 15,000 inmates. Wow. You go to a place like Kumasi Central Prisons, the capacity of the place is 450. It is housing 2,500, 4 toilet facilities, only 1 carpentry shop. You come to some medium security prisons, it was built for 850. It is housing 3,500 wow. inmates with just 2 carpentry shops. So a prison cell that should, let's say, be housing, let's say about 20, is housing about 90. They sleep in shift, as you saw in the pictures. Yeah. You see the way we pack sardine, as we say in that local parlance. That's how they sleep. So skin disease is very common, poor ventilation. As I speak now, we feed them on 1 Ghana cedi 80 pesos, 3 square meals, with the contractor's profit in it.
180 for the 3 square meals?
Yes, one cedi
80 pesos for the 3 meals.
For 3 square meals a day. KSM, will you believe that 15,000 prison inmates with 5,000 prison officers, excluding their dependents, we don't have a single hospital. The infirmaries are nothing to write home about. I wept the other time when I visited in Sawam. They didn't even have paracetamol. The inmates contribute money. So if you are sick and you go there, you didn't contribute to buy the para, you will die. So they die of very common diseases, So the health of the inmates is really at a great risk because we don't have a hospital. Apart from that, KSM, we have large tract of land, about 15,000 acres of land, with about 60% of the inmates being youthful. We can farm and even, I guess, we can even feed Ghana. But going to such large-scale farming, you have to do mechanized farming. We don't have the resources. This year, we're given 7 million Ghana cedis. That cannot even take care of food rationing. The food ration budget is about 10 million. Sometimes I wonder how we run the Ghana Prison Service, and I want to commend the prison officials. If I wasn't a Christian, I would have said they are magicians, because how they keep body and soul together. Whilst we think about the prisoners, let's think about the officers. 2/3 of the officers live in rented apartments. Only 1/3 live in the barracks. These barracks were built in the 1930s. What I've never seen painting before. Single room apartment, and an officer with 4 kids with a wife living in that kind of room. And so most of their properties are on the veranda. And all the time, landlords are the headquarters pursuing Director General of Prisons for rent arrears. So it can demoralize them. And I say that the prison officer is a prisoner by extension, because he spends 8 hours in those deplorable, inhumane conditions. So they pick those communicable diseases from the inmates, pass it on to their wife and kids. KSM, my wife and your wife may interact with their dependents in the public, and they'll contract the disease. KSM, 21% of the population, inmate population, are on remand. Some of them for 10 years. Yes, of the 15,000. Some would have been on remand for 10 years, 15 years. And if you look at the offenses, there's something wrong with our entire judicial and legal regime. If you look at some of them, the kind of crimes they committed, some of them will be sentenced to 10 years. Somebody steals cassava, in Tamale gets 2 years, still the same cassava in Kumasi, you get 10 years. Wow. But I want to commend the Chief Justice. He has came out with the new sentencing guidelines that is supposed to have streamlined. Okay. So until then, there was no guideline. Any judge will just look at your face and thinks that looking at the crime and just slap you with. And because of the huge sentences that are slapped on the inmate, our camp prisons are rather empty. The camp prisons are those are the prisons where they do the farming. And normally we don't send the high risk prisoners there. Those who are virtually finished their sentence have, let's say, 1 year to go. Now, but because of the high sentences, we're unable to get people. So the camp prisons are empty. So KSM, the situation there is inhuman. It doesn't resonate with the highly held, it's a perception that we're a very hospitable country. I know people who say that, well, they are criminals. Not all of them are criminals. Some of them, they are there because they couldn't get a lawyer. Some of them, too, they were framed up. I mean, permit me to make reference to the Bible. What crime did Joseph commit and landed in prison? Paul was in prison. Jeremiah was in prison. Nelson Mandela was in prison. Kwame Nkrumah, J.B. Dankwa. I say that our prisons is rather, instead of becoming what I'll call university of producing quality citizens, because once you go there, you come up reform. KSM. The conditions there, you will change. So if you go there, all they have is the Bible and the Quran, and they are so addicted to it.
Really?
Yes.
Themselves?
Yes. If Nkrumah could go to prison and become president of Ghana, our prisons can produce quality presidents, could produce quality people. And those who are saying, well, let them rot. Listen, you are not safe until the prisoner is reformed. I don't intend to remind this family of their pain, but the unfortunate murder of the North Abuakwa MP, may he rest in peace.
Yeah.
The guy who murdered him is an ex-convict. He stole something tiny, got 1 year. He came, we couldn't give him skills training. We couldn't reform him. So he came out, stigmatization, the society rejected him. He had to survive. So per his confession, he says that he didn't go there to kill, he went there to steal. So you see, you and I are not safe until the prisoner is reformed. The international community, I keep telling the embassies and I keep telling these multinational companies, listen, if you think that prisons, don't forget about them. When they come out, they are a security threat to your investment in Ghana. So that is why we are calling the corporate bodies, the embassies, government, private sector, let's come together and equip the prisons. I was in the States, commendations to the U.S. Embassy in Ghana. We paid a courtesy call on them, and they sponsored the trip. KSM, I was in the state of Colorado, and I was amazed at their prisons. They make $65 million every year.
The prisons?
Yes. I said, how? He said, listen, the U.S. government knows the role prisons play in national development. Can you imagine Ghana without prisons? No country can develop without a well-equipped prison. That is why they are ahead of us. Because while they are in there, they're able to reform them. They have all kinds of treatment centers. You go, they have drug addiction treatment center. They have those who are committed rape. They have all kinds, and they have qualified doctors. Now, what they do is that the states, knowing that it will be difficult to commit so much resources, they came up with a statute. All car number plates are printed by the prisons. Then the books used by public schools are printed by the prisons. So the prisoners are paid a stipend. They open accounts for them. And some of them are able to save money and take care of their families whilst in prison. Some of them are able to leave prisons with a degree in law, masters in law. We can replicate the same thing in this country. Now, KSM, to go beyond just expand, Project Affairs is supposed to help expand infrastructure, build a modern hospital, and then also, get more qualified people, enrolled as prison officers so they can help with the reformation. We decided to get to the root of the matter. So we decided to identify all our stakeholders. So we sought audience with His Excellency the President, President Mahama, and for the first time in Ghana's history, the Prisons Council, even though the Constitution says we advise the President, the first time we had audience with the sitting President. 1.5 hours, we showed him pictures and documentary. He was moved to tears. And I said, Mr. President, can you make history? Will you be the first president to visit a prison facility? He said, oh, Chairman, that would be a good idea. So on the 3rd of July, in the company of the Chief Justice, Minister of Finance and others, they paid a historic visit. KSM, you should have been there. It was like the second coming of Jesus. These inmates were weeping, said, so we are also important. I mean, that visit did a lot, brought life to them. And right after that, government gave 50 million Ghana cedi towards Project Affairs, and that is going into building a remand prison, separate remand prison. And then 2 months ago, government gave us 77 vehicles, which is the biggest ever support gotten from government, in which we are very much encouraged. And then less than a year, the First Lady, Her Excellency Dr. Linda Mahama, also visited in Sawam and donated medical equipment. And so now the infirmary has been upgraded. Again, I want to commend government. They put us on the National Health Insurance Scheme. As I speak now, 7,000 inmates have been put on the scheme,
wow.
which is going to, give a big relief to our budget. Now, from the president, we paid a courtesy call on the Chief Justice because, I mean, the whole thing ends at their doorstep. And we showed him the numbers on remand, and she was shocked. And immediately she took steps. She gave an order that every judge should make time to visit the prison. When the first batch visited, I heard them on one radio station, they were screaming, oh no, we can't believe that these are the conditions. So now it's beginning to affect the kind of sentences they hand out. Then from this, we went to the IGP, because it starts with the police. We are very fine police officers. Some of them too are just reckless. They arrest these guys, dump them there, don't do any proper prosecution. The person goes on retirement, and the person is languishing in there. So we discussed with him how they should close all those loopholes and get things done. We've been to the Attorney General. Then from there, we've been to the embassies. We've been to the U.S. ambassador, Iranian ambassador, Indian ambassador. All of them are beginning to support us, and then also we've been to our kings. We went to Tumfor. He promised to give us 500 acres of land for us to relocate Kumasi Central prisons. We've been to the Speaker of Parliament. After the courtesy call, he said, Chairman, you've made me very sad. I said, why? He said, I couldn't believe the conditions there. So we are launching Prisons Week this year, and we are going to arrange for very influential people, those who matter, who can influence key decision making, to take turns. And KSM, I want to respectfully invite you. One day, if we are free, I will accompany you to visit our prisons and see things for yourself. KSM, you will never be the same because it could be me. Yeah. It could be anybody. Yeah. So Ghana, we must rethink, and then let's stop this thing of stigmatizing them. Some of them have changed genuinely. And when they come back, I was shocked in the US, a particular financial institution. They said they prefer employing ex-convict. I said, what?
Really?
Why? Yes, because they said, listen, they have learned their lessons. They are wiser than us. They value freedom. Yeah. So when he comes out, he's more careful. When he sees 1 0, he would not add 3 zeros. But you and I, anytime I visit the prison and we drive out and I see people walking by the roadside, I ask myself, do they value freedom?
Take it for granted.
Take it for granted.
Wow. So how do we get people to get past the stigma thing? That they deserve it, And do some deserve it, though?
Yes. Well, some of them, yes, they deserve the sentence handed out to them.
Yeah, but not the conditions.
Yes. KSM, listen. You see, taking somebody's freedom away alone is more than enough. I was shocked in the U.S. Look, the prisons is like, somebody's home. Yeah. And so I interacted with them. I said, are you okay? He said, I want to get out of this place. I don't like this place. I said, why? But you have TV, you have everything. No. I miss my family. I miss my friends. Yeah. So taking their freedom away is the greatest punishment. Anything beyond that is you are killing them. You are giving them more than they deserve. Sometimes, I don't know how those on condemned get my numbers. They
call you.
Chairman, please, we have changed. Please, they should give us this. Sometimes I weep on the phone. I said, but the law, the law, and KSM, like I also mentioned, we're also into public-private partnership. We have lands at prime areas in Ghana. We don't have the money to develop them. People are encroaching on them.
Is it the prison
service?
Oh, really?
Yes, that's
they
right.
Have lands?
Lands. So we are prepared. If you come with a good proposal, we can exchange those lands. You can say, look, I'll get you a land somewhere and build modern prison for us or build accommodation for the officers. We'll look at the value. Government has given approval. And then we can go into that kind of partnership. Or we have farmlands. If you're an investor, you want to go into huge farming, we can give our lands to you. You can have cheap labor. We can make the prisoners available to you so that you can use them. And that's what happens outside Ghana. And following our president's visit, historic visit, 3 weeks after that, President Obama took a cue from that and also visited a federal prison. The first time an American president visited a federal prison. And KSM, let me repeat this year. From 2016 onwards, prisons will be the hub or the center for corporate social responsibility activities. And any organization which does not turn its attention to the prison become irrelevant. And that's why we've been to banks. Look, sometimes I have 4 courtesy calls a day. You know, for example, tomorrow we are going to the Australian ambassador, you know, moving from place to place, appealing to them. People are beginning to say, well, we didn't know your story. You are now telling us your story. I left out one important thing. KSM, this council, we are very pragmatic. We said we didn't want to go to Ghanaians to ask for money without a plan.
So you have a plan?
So we've come up with a 10-year strategic development plan. This will change the face of Ghana prisons. And it will make Ghana prisons a center of excellence. We need only 25 million Ghana cedis every year for 10 years. If Ghanaians give me this money, I will turn Ghana prisons into the ones we read about or experience outside Ghana. And my team, we are I'm a Reverend minister. Bible says a good name is better than riches.
Yeah.
I value my good name than anything. I will account for every city. Every year I will hold a press conference, present audited accounts to Ghanaians, and allow the press to question, you know, ask questions. Now, this document, now we're about 26 million Ghanaians. If every Ghanaian donates 1 Ghana cedi every year, KSM,
1 cedi a year,
we can change. Or some churches, religious bodies, or corporate bodies can say that, look, we are adopting maybe Kumasi Central Prison. Another one can say we are adopting Akuse. Or I'm adopting the skill training center. Every year I'll just buy tools, carpentry tools, or hairdressing machine. KSM, 43 prisons. We can do this. We see companies sponsoring, well, it's not for me to judge, but sponsoring some of the activities that does not really bear on national development. And this, if you can transform a prisoner, I bet you Ghana will become a model. When I was in the US, they gave me a platform to give a talk. Prisons reforms in Africa, the Ghana model. And the US government commended Ghana that we are the only prisons in the whole of Africa who has a 10-year plan.
Wow. Show
and
some
they
love,
really you know, commended us. So if they donate the money, I promise them we'll put it to good use. And we'll make sure that Ghanaians will be happy. And it will speak well for us.
And the whole part about if prison doesn't reform, we are the ones in trouble.
Perfect.
That's what people should really understand.
Seriously.
Because the guy is coming out angered.
No, they're very bitter.
And the condition is worse.
KSM, the day you visit prison, you will see something. When you go to the convicted, you know, we're supposed to classify them per the UN minimum standard rules. But because we don't have the facility, the guy who stole cassava and the armed robber in the same cell.
Wow.
So when they are doing nothing, they say, excuse my language. Oh, you crazy. You go steal cassava, they give you 5 years. Me, I go commit murder, they give me 30 years. So the guy, anger begins to boil in him. So when he comes out, he's angry with society. So he wants to commit a more serious murder. Or when they come out, at least in prison, even the ones in the 80%, he gets something to eat. He doesn't get in if you commit another offense. So you can send him back to prison. So who will suffer? For him, he has nothing to lose. You know, so normally when you go to the prison, the convicted prisoners, they are very calm. But the remand, anytime you start moving towards their side, they are very boisterous, very angry. So one time they nearly lynched me.
Really?
Yes. They said, Chairman, why are we here? I said, please, calm down. It took me 15 minutes to calm them down for them to listen. So when these guys come out, you that multinational company, you that bank, that church, that mosque, that celebrity, you are not safe. So we better look at the Pogedefiase and support us to reform them and transform them, or else KSM. Forget about your dream house you are building, that flashy car you are driving in town. No, you are not safe. And I believe that Ghanaians are good people, and I'm glad KSM giving us this huge platform. If you're watching us, please, we have a code, 9050, short code, or the network, 9050.
9050, all the networks.
All the networks.
Okay.
Or walk to Johnny Bank, Royal Bank, Echo Bank, and say you want to donate towards Prisons Reform Trust. Prisons Reform Trust. You don't need to know the account number. Any amount. It's possible. Just donate it, and you will not regret you did it.
Put your hands together, man. Put your hands together. Yeah. I'm particularly touched, you know, because even though common sense will tell you that it's never, I've never thought about if you don't reform the prisoners, you're at risk.
Yeah.
You know, and I think somebody said that there's nothing more dangerous society. There's nothing more dangerous society than a person with nothing to lose.
Wow.
So when he comes out, yeah, and he has nothing to lose.
Yes.
You are.
He has lost his family. Some of them have been there for 60 years. Some of them, in fact, their family members even think that they are dead. Wow. So yes, he has no wife. Some of them, once they are incarcerated, they lose their wife to their friends. Their children, nobody cares about them. So he comes, and what has he got to lose? Yeah. He's used to prison life. So he even wants to go back there because he has friends there.
Yeah.
You know, who give him funds, you know. But he comes out, nobody wants to talk to him, nobody knows him. So seriously, in fact, it is a national security issue, this thing we're talking about. And the earlier we all turn our attention, even Christ said it. For us Christians, I tell people, KSM, prison is our Mecca. Because Christ said on the judgment day, he will tell you I was in prison, you didn't visit me. Anytime I read that scripture, I'm shaken to the bone. You know, so, and I want to say that, make reference to this Chinese proverb that says, if your child asks for fish, don't give him fish. Rather, teach him how to fish. So when you are no more, he can always get fish to eat. KSM, going to give them food, those things are fine, but it's temporal. We are working on the prison officers. I've heard people level some charges against officers that when they bring the items, you know, we are investigating that, and I've cautioned them and warned them. If any officer is caught diverting any donation brought to the officers, you will not be spared. But I would prefer, if you donate towards EFIAS, we will invest into expansion of infrastructure, equipping the skills training centers. So let's go beyond just going to give them food, those things. They will eat and they go on. But if you give them skills training, then we can give them a little capital when they are out. Look, do you know the KSM? Any uniform worn by a prison officer was sewn by the inmates. Our headquarters was built by the prisoners. Wow. So government should give us contract. This school uniform contract, give us contract. We can build. We will deliver. Although when the secondary come to some of their blocks, were built by the inmates. If you look at the artwork, KSM, you wouldn't believe it. All we need is the capital and the support.
Put your hands together, man. Put your hands together. And, well, you've heard it all. You know, there's nothing I can say to add to what you've heard. And this is the thing, that unless we reform those that we send to prison, they come back out and we are still at risk. And what about support we can give to the prison service? What's the
Project EFIAS.
Project EFIAS. Let us all do. The code again is 9050. Great. And you can go to Unibank,
Royal Bank, EcoBank. Prisons Reform Trust is the name of the accounts. Prisons Reform Trust. You can donate any money. But if you want public-private partnership or anything, just walk to the prison's headquarters and ask of the council secretariat. Okay. We have our staff there. They will arrange for us to meet them. The legal department is there. Then we can start talking. Okay. Yes. Reverend Wengam, thank you very much. And God bless your efforts. Thank you. And, please, it's a pleasure. And I hope to join you to visit. We'll be grateful, and play an active role in this magnificent crusade. You were a special ambassador for Project EFIAS. Thank you. Folks, one more time for Reverend Wengam. And stick around, we'll be right back. If you're having as much fun as I am, stay tuned. If you're not, you need deliverance. We'll be right back. The KSM Show.